She had one last financial safety net, a health savings account for a medical emergency. She never thought the emergency would be her in-laws' dental work. It sits there, a stark white envelope on a dark table, a symbol of a healthcare system she had paid into her entire working life. An American medical bill, a demand for payment that represents fear, uncertainty, and the terrifying cost of getting sick in the United States. For Jenny Slatton, this wasn't just paper. It was the reason she had meticulously saved, the reason she had a health savings account, or HSA, in the first place. It was her cushion, her emergency fund, her promise to herself that after a lifetime of work, she wouldn't be left vulnerable in a health crisis. But the crisis that came wasn't a broken bone or a sudden illness. The crisis was a betrayal so cold, so calculated, it redefines everything we thought we knew about her relationship with SUMIT Singh. Before we dive into the shocking evidence our insider reports have uncovered, do me a quick favor. If you love getting the real, untold stories behind 90 Day Fiancé, hit that like button right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single second of this investigation. It helps the channel more than you know. And trust me, you are not going to want to miss where this is going. Now, let's set the stage. Because to understand the depth of this financial heist, you have to understand the depth of Jenny's sacrifice. This isn't just about a few dollars. This is about the systematic dismantling of a woman's entire life savings by the man she loves and the family that has never accepted her. We all watched her story. We saw her sell her house in Palm Springs. We saw her cash out her 401k, her retirement, the money meant to sustain her through her golden years. She liquidated her American dream, converting it all into cash to fund a new life in India, a life with Sumit. She gave up her home, her car, her friends, her country, and her financial security, all for love. She arrived in India with what she had left, a finite pool of money that had to last her for the rest of her life. And part of that financial planning, the most critical part, was her health savings account. For anyone not familiar, an HSA is not a simple checking account. It is a tax-advantaged savings vehicle available in the United States, specifically and exclusively for medical expenses. You contribute pre-tax dollars, it grows tax-free, and you can withdraw it tax-free as long as it's for a qualified medical, dental, or vision expense. It is a lifeline. It's the money you use for your prescriptions, for a hospital stay, for an emergency root canal. The U.S. government takes the use of these funds so seriously that if you withdraw money for a non-qualified expense, you not only have to pay income tax on it, but you're hit with a steep 20% penalty. This isn't play money. This isn't a slush fund. It is legally designated, protected money for one person's health, the account holder. In this case, Jenny Slatton. The funds in this account were her last link to the American healthcare system, her only real plan if something catastrophic happened. And Sumit knew this. He had to have known. She would have explained it to him. This last bastion of her financial independence, this in case of emergency break glass fund that gave her a sliver of peace of mind while living a world away from everything she knew. Our story, this exclusive theory we've pieced together from insider reports, begins not with a dramatic confrontation, but with a quiet, creeping suspicion. It starts with a piece of mail, forwarded from her U.S. address, a year-end statement from her HSA provider. Jenny, like most of us, probably just glanced at the summary page. The numbers might have seemed a little lower than she expected, but in the day-to-day chaos of life in India, with its currency conversions and unfamiliar expenses, a little financial drift can be easy to overlook. She likely filed it away, forgetting about it. But our sources say the full, itemized statements tell a story that is nothing short of a horror film. A story of calculated theft hidden in plain sight. Let's look at the first piece of evidence our investigation has uncovered: the financial records for Jenny's U.S.-based health savings account. We're talking about detailed monthly statements. And on these statements, a pattern begins to emerge. It's not one big, obvious transfer that would set off alarm bells. It's far more insidious. It's a series of large debit card transactions. A debit card, mind you, linked directly and exclusively to Jenny's health savings. The first set of charges that stand out are from a place called the Prakash Dental Clinic in New Delhi. Not one charge, but a series of them, spread out over several weeks. We're talking about transactions for $500, $1,000, another for $750. Significant amounts, amounts that would suggest major dental work. But Jenny hadn't had any major dental work done. She hadn't been to the Prakash Dental Clinic. She might not have even known it existed. So who was getting their teeth fixed on Jenny's dime? This is where the story takes a sickening turn. The dates of these transactions are key. Let's take one specific charge, a debit of 1,200 US dollars from Jenny's HSA, processed on March 17th. Now, let's cross-reference that with social media. On March 19th, just 2 days later, what appeared on the Instagram feed of Amit's wife? For those who don't remember, Amit is Sumit's brother, the one who has often seemed more sympathetic but is still firmly entrenched in the family unit. His wife, who has never been a fan of Jenny, posts a series of beaming selfies. She's showing off a radiant, perfectly white, perfectly straight smile. A smile that is noticeably different from pictures just a month prior. The caption, translated from Hindi, reads, "A new look for a new life. Feeling blessed with my new smile. Thank you to my wonderful family for making this happen." Her new smile. The kind of cosmetic veneer work that costs a fortune. The kind of work that would be done over several appointments at a high-end clinic. The kind of work that would result in charges of $500, $1,000, and $750. The dates match perfectly. The cost aligns perfectly. The social media post is the celebratory receipt for a crime Jenny didn't even know had been committed against her. Let that sink in. The money Jenny had saved, tax-free, for a potential life-saving surgery or a course of expensive medication, was allegedly used to pay for her sister-in-law's cosmetic dental veneers. The sister-in-law who has looked at her with disdain, who has judged her, who has stood by as the family matriarch Sana, emotionally tortured her. That woman's vanity was being funded by Jenny's future health. It's a level of betrayal that is almost impossible to comprehend. Sumit, her husband, the man who was supposed to protect her, must have been the one to hand over that card. He must have stood there, in that dental office, and watched as his wife's health security was swiped away to pay for his sister-in-law's quest for a brighter smile. But the heist doesn't stop at cosmetic dentistry. Oh no, it gets so much worse. It gets more personal, more hypocritical, and far more devastating. As we continue to scan these HSA statements, another series of transactions catches our eye. These are from a different kind of establishment. Not a hospital, not a traditional clinic, but a place called the Holistic Harmony Ayurvedic Center, a high-end, spa-like wellness retreat on the outskirts of the city. The charges here are even more substantial. We see multiple debits for the equivalent of 1,500 US dollars, 2,000 US dollars. These aren't for a one-off treatment. This is for an entire program. An expensive residential wellness journey. And who, you might ask, was on this wellness journey? Who is receiving these luxurious, elective Ayurvedic treatments? The answer is the architect of Jenny's misery, Sumit's mother, Sahna. Again, we turn to the social media timeline, the digital breadcrumbs of this betrayal. Around the same time as these exorbitant charges, Sumit posts a photo of his mother. She's sitting in a lush garden, looking serene, dressed in white. The location tag is the Holistic Harmony Ayurvedic Center. The caption is a lengthy tribute to his mother's strength. He writes about how she has been under so much stress, how she deserves to rest and heal, and how he is so happy he can finally provide her with the best wellness treatments to restore her peace and balance. He talks about her healing journey and thanks the center for taking such good care of her. The irony is so thick you could choke on it. Sana's stress butts, the very stress caused by her relentless and cruel opposition to Sumit's marriage to Jenny, is now being treated using Jenny's own money. The money set aside for Jenny's health emergencies is being drained to pay for Sana's luxury spa vacation, masquerading as wellness. These Ayurvedic treatments, while culturally significant, are in this context elective and cosmetic in their application. We're not talking about life-saving chemotherapy. We're talking about herbal massages, meditative retreats, and dietary consultations designed to make a person feel balanced. Sahna's emotional well-being, a state of unwell-being she herself cultivated through years of emotional abuse toward Jenny, was being restored on Jenny's account. Sumit wasn't just facilitating this, he was celebrating it online. He was creating a public narrative of being the dutiful son, providing for his mother's care, all while allegedly committing financial fraud against his own wife. He was stealing from Jenny's future to pay for his mother's present comfort, a comfort she only required because of her own hateful actions. It is a circular, sickening, self-fulfilling prophecy of abuse, and Jenny's life savings were the fuel keeping it going. So how did this happen? How logistically could Sumit pull this off? It comes down to a simple, devastating tool of trust, a debit card. When you have an HSA, you are issued a debit card linked to the account. It's meant for convenience, so you can pay for a prescription at the pharmacy or a copay at the doctor's office without having to file for reimbursement. In a trusting relationship, Jenny would have seen no harm in Sumit having access to this card. He likely would have framed it as a necessity. Jenny, you don't know the city well. If you need me to pick up a prescription for you, I'll need the card. Or, let me hold on to this for safekeeping in case of an emergency. He would have created a pretext of care and concern. We can almost picture the scene. Jenny, trusting the man she gave up everything for, hands over the card. She believes it's for her own good, for their shared life. Meanwhile, Sumit now has the key to her last financial fortress. And his family, who have always seen Jenny as a temporary problem and a permanent ATM, now have a direct pipeline into her accounts. The question is, was Sumit a pawn or a mastermind? Was he coerced by his mother and brother, buckling under the immense cultural pressure to provide for his family of origin above all else? Or was he a willing participant, a man who has shown a capacity for deep deception from the very beginning of their story? Let's not forget, this is the same Sumit who catfished Jenny for a year. This is the same Sumit who is in an arranged marriage that he hid from Jenny for years, leading to one of the most shocking and humiliating moments in 90-day history. His entire relationship with Jenny is built on a foundation of seismic lies. He has a proven track record of doing whatever is necessary to keep the different parts of his life separate, to placate everyone at once, no matter the ethical cost. Is it really a stretch to believe he would create a secret financial life as well? One where he plays the loyal husband to Jenny, while simultaneously playing the dutiful son who provides for his family, using her money to do it? This theory suggests that Sumit saw the HSA as a perfect, untouchable source of funds. It was US-based, which meant it was less likely his family's spending would be scrutinized by Jenny on a regular basis. He could easily explain away the card's absence. He could make a transaction in the afternoon while Jenny was at home, and she would be none the wiser until a statement arrived months later, if she even checked it closely at all. He exploited her trust, her lack of local knowledge, and her deep-seated fear of conflict. Jenny has always been the one to back down, to try and keep the peace, to absorb the abuse in the hopes of one day being accepted. Sumit and his family banked on this. They saw her desire for harmony as a weakness, and they exploited it to its absolute financial limit. Let's analyze the psychology of this family. Sana and the father have always been clear about their motives. They believe Jenny has shamed their family, that she is too old, and that she has stolen their son. But they also seem to believe they are entitled to the financial benefits of their son's relationship with an American woman. It's a bizarre Madonna whore complex applied to finance. They reject her as a daughter-in-law, but they seem to have no problem accepting, or rather taking, her money. They feel they are owed something for the shame she has brought upon them. In their twisted worldview, draining her health savings for their own comfort and vanity might even feel like justice. It's a form of financial retribution. You cost us our family's honor, so we will take your financial security. It's a silent, undeclared war waged not with words, but with debit card swipes. And Amit and his wife? Their role is perhaps even more sinister. They present a friendlier face. They are the modern couple, the ones who seem to understand Jenny's position a little better. But if these allegations are true, they are vultures in allies' clothing. They are smiling at Jenny's face while their hands are in her pocketbook. The new smile on Amit's wife isn't just a cosmetic enhancement, it's a trophy. It's a symbol of their victory, a glittering monument to their ability to manipulate their brother and defraud their sister-in-law, all while maintaining a facade of family unity. This entire scheme is predicated on one thing: Jenny's isolation. She is in a foreign country where she does not have a strong support system. She relies on Sumit for everything: translation, transportation, and navigating the complexities of Indian society. This dependency creates a perfect environment for financial abuse. Who can she turn to? Who would she even complain to? If she confronts Sumit, he can gaslight her, deny everything, or claim it was a misunderstanding. He could claim he was borrowing the money and intended to pay it back. He could create a story about a desperate family emergency, a lie more palatable than the truth of vanity and spa treatments. He holds all the cards, including, literally, her debit card. Furthermore, there are the legal and financial ramifications for Jenny herself, which she is likely completely unaware of. The moment her HSA funds were used for a non-qualified expense, like cosmetic veneers for a sister-in-law or a wellness retreat for a mother-in-law, they became a taxable distribution. And not just taxable, but subject to a 20% penalty. So not only is her life-saving medical fund being depleted, but she is also Uri also unknowingly racking up a huge tax liability back in the United States. The IRS doesn't care about family drama in India. All they see is an account holder in her 60s making large, non-qualified withdrawals from her tax-sheltered health account. The financial ruin this could cause is twofold: the immediate loss of the cash and the future debt to the US government. Sumit hasn't just stolen from her, he has potentially put her in legal jeopardy in her home country. It's a betrayal on an international scale. The pattern of deception is what is most damning. This wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This wasn't Sumit borrowing the card in a single moment of weakness to help his mother with a legitimate medical bill. The evidence on the statements, according to our sources, shows a systematic, ongoing draining of the account over many months, possibly even years. It's a calculated strategy. A little for a dental appointment here, a little for a treatment there. It's the financial equivalent of death by 1,000 cuts. Each swipe of the card is another slice of Jenny's security, another piece of her future sold off to pay for the fleeting whims of the family that despises her. And what about the sheer audacity of it all? To post the evidence of your crime on social media for the world to see. It speaks to a level of arrogance and a belief that you will never be caught. Sumit's wife and mother, flaunting their new teeth and their serene spa days, are essentially dancing on the grave of Jenny's financial security. They don't see it as theft, they see it as their due. They have successfully monetized their son's marriage. They have turned Jenny into a non-consenting sponsor for their lifestyle upgrades. It's a long con, and Jenny is the mark. She has been the mark from the very beginning. From the moment Michael Jones first messaged her on Facebook, she was a target. First, she was a target for a lonely man's emotional escape. Then she became the target of his family's scorn. And now it seems she has become the target of a coordinated and deeply personal financial heist. This theory reframes every interaction we have ever seen between these people. Every tearful plea from Sana about her health, her stress, her heart palpitations, now seems like a potential audition for her next spa treatment funded by Jenny. Every seemingly supportive word from Amit and his wife now feels like a calculated move to keep Jenny compliant and unsuspecting. And every declaration of love from Sumit, every promise to protect her and choose her, is now tainted by the shadow of this profound financial betrayal. How can you claim to love a woman when you are actively dismantling her ability to care for herself in a medical emergency? How can you look her in the eye, day after day, knowing that you are using her last safety net to buy your family's affection and approval? The crime isn't just the theft of money. It's the theft of trust. It's the theft of peace of mind. It's the theft of a future. Jenny has already given up so much. She gambled everything on this love. She endured humiliation, ostracization, and constant emotional warfare. The one thing she had left was this small, protected account, a final link to the life she had left behind, a guarantee that if the worst should happen, she wouldn't be destitute and helpless. And Sumit, the man who was the entire reason for her gamble, allegedly took that from her too. He didn't just drain her account. He drained her last hope of security. He stole her health to pay for their wealth, or more accurately, their wellness and their vanity. The evidence is circumstantial but incredibly compelling. The financial statements, the debit card transactions in India, the dates, and the corresponding social media posts, they all line up to paint a very ugly picture. It's a puzzle where every piece clicks perfectly into place, and the final image is one of shocking greed and cold-hearted deception. We are no longer just talking about family drama. We are talking about potential felony-level financial fraud. The misuse of an HSA is a federal matter in the United States. The international nature of these transactions adds another layer of complexity and criminality. This isn't just a betrayal of a marriage vow, it's a violation of the law. And the most heartbreaking part of it all is that Jenny is the last to know. While her nest egg is being pilfered for teeth and treatments, she is likely at home, cooking, cleaning, trying her best to be a good wife and daughter-in-law, still holding out hope for acceptance. She is living in the house of the very people who are allegedly robbing her blind, completely oblivious to the financial dagger being twisted in her back by the person sleeping next to her. She is adrift, isolated, and being bled dry. But a secret this big, a fraud this audacious, can't stay hidden forever. The paper trail is too long. The digital footprint is too clear. Sooner or later, the institution that holds the money is going to notice. Banks have algorithms for a reason. They look for suspicious activity, for patterns that don't make sense. and a US-based health savings account for a woman in her 60s suddenly being used for large repeated transactions at dental clinics and wellness centers in India is a pattern that screams for attention. An automated flag is raised, an alert is sent to a fraud department, and an employee picks up a phone to make a call across the world, a call to the account holder, ENNY SLATTEN, the call that would unravel everything, the call that would turn the secret crisis into a devastating reality, the call that would force Jenny to confront the terrifying truth that her greatest health emergency wasn't a sickness of the body, but a sickness of the heart, perpetrated by the one person she thought she could trust. The quiet afternoon in their Indian home is shattered by the shrill alien ringtone of her American cell phone. It's a sound she rarely hears, a digital ghost from a life she left behind. For a moment, she's confused. Who would be calling this number? It's the middle of the night in the States. Her mind flashes through a list of terrible possibilities. A health crisis with her daughters, a problem with her social security. With trembling hands, she answers. The voice on the other end is calm, professional, and utterly chilling. It's a fraud prevention specialist from her HSA provider. Ma'am, my name is David. I'm calling from the security department. We're just making a routine call to verify some unusual international activity on your account. Jenny's heart seizes. Unusual activity? She repeats, her voice barely a whisper. She thinks of the small, legitimate purchases. A bottle of imported aspirin, perhaps. A specific American brand of antacid. Nothing that would trigger a fraud alert. The man on the phone continues, his voice devoid of emotion as he reads from a screen thousands of miles away. Yes, ma'am, we have a series of high-value debit card transactions from merchants in India. We just need to confirm these were authorized by you. We have multiple charges at a Prakash Dental Clinic in New Delhi, and a series of even larger charges at a place called the Holistic Harmony Ayurvedic Center. The total amount flagged over the last few months is quite substantial. Jenny's mind goes blank. Prakash Dental Clinic? Holistic Harmony? She has never been to these places. She doesn't even know where they are. No, she says, her voice cracking. That has to be a mistake. I haven't used the card. It's here. It's they. There's a pause on the line. The professional calm in the man's voice is replaced by a hint of practiced concern. Ma'am, the charges were definitely made with the physical card. Are you certain no one else has access to it? And in that moment, the entire world tilts on its axis. The entire foundation of her life in India cracks. There is only one other person. One person she trusted implicitly. One person knew where she kept her wallet, where she kept her important papers. One person who had promised to protect her, to cherish her, to stand with her against the world. Sumit. The fraud specialist, sensing her distress, offers to email her the detailed statements immediately. You should review them, ma'am, he says gently. And if these charges are fraudulent, we can begin the process of locking the account and opening a dispute. The call ends. Jenny is left in a silence that is louder than any scream. The email arrives with a soft ping. It feels like a death sentence. She opens the attachment, her hands shaking so badly she can barely control the mouse. And there it is, in cold, hard, undeniable black and white. A list of her life's betrayals, itemized and dated for her convenience. Line after line, the truth spills out across the screen. March 17th, Prakash Dental Clinic, $1,200. March 24th, Prakash Dental Clinic, $750. April 5th, Prakash Dental Clinic, $500. Then the bigger ones. May 10th, Holistic Harmony Ayurvedic Center, $2,000. May 17th, Holistic Harmony Ayurvedic Center, $1,500. The dates, her mind races, a supercomputer of heartbreak, connecting the data points to the social media posts she had glanced at, liked, and forgotten. She pulls up her sister-in-law's Instagram. She scrolls back, her breath catching in her throat. There it is, March 19th, the beaming selfie, the perfect gleaming white teeth. The caption, feeling blessed with my new smile. Thank you to my wonderful family for making this happen. Her family. The charge for $1,200 went through on March 17th. It took 2 days for the public celebration. The price of that new smile, the smile that had so often looked at Jenny with pity and contempt, was $1,200 of her emergency health money. The money she had saved in case she needed a hip replacement, in case she had a heart attack, in case the unspeakable happened. It was gone. And in its place were veneers in the mouth of a woman who barely tolerated her existence. Her hands are ice cold now. She feels sick. She navigates to Sumit's page. She scrolls back through the months, her eyes scanning for the other name, the other temple of vanity. And she finds it. May 12th. A photo of Sana, Sumit's mother, looking beatific and serene in a garden. The location tag is unmistakable. Holistic Harmony, Ayurvedic Center. Sumit's loving tribute to his mother's healing journey, his pride in being able to provide her with the best wellness treatments. The treatments that cost $2,000 on May 10th. The treatments cost another $1,500 on May 17th. The wellness, the balance, the peace. All of it was purchased with Jenny's future. The woman who had emotionally terrorized her, who had threatened suicide to prevent their marriage, who had made Jenny's life a living hell, was now finding her inner peace at a luxury spa, paid for by Jenny herself. It was a joke written by the devil, a punchline so cruel, so perverse, it defied belief. Sumit hadn't just stolen from her. He had taken her money, her security, and given it as a gift to her chief tormentor. It was the ultimate act of betrayal, a financial transaction that symbolized his ultimate allegiance. He had chosen his mother's comfort over his wife's survival. She prints the statements. The hum of the printer is the only sound in the room, a machine methodically churning out the evidence of her ruin. She lays the papers out on the table next to the social media posts she has printed. The dental bills next to the smiling face, the spa charges next to the serene mother. It is an open and shut case, a case for a prosecutor, not a marriage counselor. This is the judgment, not in a court of law, but in the quiet of her own home. The confrontation with the paper trail of her own money being spent on the very people who had caused her so much pain. The betrayal is so complete, so profound, it's hard to even process. It wasn't a crime of passion. It was a long, slow, calculated campaign of financial destruction. Sumit must have taken the card from her wallet while she was sleeping. He must have snuck away, making excuses about running errands for his parents. He must have stood there, in the dental clinic, in the wellness center, and handed over the card with her name on it, feeling no remorse, no guilt, or worse, feeling a sense of satisfaction, a sense of providing for his real family, using the resources of the outsider. Every memory she has is now poisoned. Every loving gesture from Sumit is now suspect. When he held her hand, was he wondering how much was left in her account? When he told her he loved her, was he thinking about the next withdrawal he needed to make for his family? The entire structure of their relationship, a relationship she had sacrificed everything for, was revealed to be a lie. She wasn't his partner, she was his sponsor. She wasn't his wife, she was his bank. And the bank was now empty. She thinks back to the beginning, selling her house in Palm Springs, the life she had built, the friends she had, cashing out her 401k, the money that was supposed to last her until she died. She had watched her net worth, her life's work, dwindle down, converting it all into a pile of cash she brought to India. And she did it gladly, because she believed in him, she believed in their love, she believed his lies. From Michael Jones to the secret wife to this, Sumit's entire identity was a mirage. He was a man who lived in a hall of mirrors, reflecting back to everyone what they wanted to see. To Jenny, he was the devoted romantic husband. To his parents, he was the dutiful provider son, and he had found the perfect way to fund both illusions by robbing one to pay the other. The devastation is more than just financial, it is existential. She gave up her country, her culture, her language, her family, her security. She made herself completely dependent on him in a foreign land, an act of ultimate trust. And he had used that trust, that dependency, as a weapon against her. He knew she wouldn't check the statements regularly. He knew she wouldn't understand the banking system. He knew she had no one else to turn to. Her isolation was his opportunity. Her love was his collateral. What would his excuse be? She can almost hear the conversation in her head. First, the denial. What are you talking about, Jenny? This is a mistake. The bank is wrong. Then, when faced with the undeniable proof, the gaslighting. You are overreacting, Jenny. You don't understand the pressure I am under. Then the shift to victimhood. My mother was so sick with stress. My sister-in-law was so unhappy. What was I supposed to do? You have money, Jenny. We have nothing. He would try to make her feel guilty for having saved, for having a safety net in the first place. He would frame her financial prudence as a form of selfishness, and his theft as a noble act of familial duty. He would weaponize his culture against her, claiming that in India, a son's duty to his parents is absolute, a concept she, as an American, could never understand. But this isn't about culture. This is about crime. This isn't about family duty. This is about fraud. He didn't just borrow the money, he stole it. He stole it and used it for cosmetic procedures and luxury services. This wasn't for life-saving medicine for his ailing mother. This was for elective treatments to soothe the stress she herself created. This wasn't for an emergency root canal for his sister-in-law. This was for a vanity-fueled smile makeover. He had systematically looted funds legally designated for Jenny's personal health care to pay for his extended family's cosmetic and elective procedures. He has been stealing from her future health to pay for their present vanity, leaving her completely exposed should she face a real medical crisis. And the legal consequences she now faces are terrifying. The call from the bank wasn't just a courtesy, it was the beginning of a nightmare. All those withdrawals, thousands upon thousands of dollars, are now considered non-qualified distributions by the IRS. That means every single dollar SUMIT spent is now taxable income for Jenny. And on top of that, a 20% penalty. Let's do the math. On the $3,500 spent on Sahana's wellness alone, Jenny would owe income tax plus a $700 penalty. Add in the dental work and any other transactions she hasn't yet uncovered. She could be facing a tax bill of thousands of dollars, a debt she has no way to pay. Sumit didn't just empty her savings, he put her in debt to the federal government of the United States. He has ruined her financially in 2 countries simultaneously. The depth of the deception is what truly breaks her. It required planning. It required ongoing lies. It required a complete and total disregard for her as a human being. She was not a person to him or to his family. She was a resource. A deep well of American dollars that they felt entitled to. They resented her presence but coveted her purse. The constant emotional abuse from Sana wasn't just about her age or nationality, it was a tactic. It was a way to keep Jenny off balance, to make her feel so desperate for their approval that she wouldn't dare question anything, especially not finances. It was a masterclass in psychological manipulation designed to facilitate a financial crime. Think about Amit and his wife, the so-called allies, the ones who would sit with Jenny and offer sympathetic platitudes, all while knowing that their new perfect smile was being paid for by her. The sheer hypocrisy is breathtaking. They were all in on it. This was a family conspiracy. Sumit was the hand that took the money, but the entire family were the mouths that were fed by it. They were a pack of wolves that had surrounded a lone sheep, and they were slowly, methodically picking her apart, piece by piece. What can she do now? She is 63 years old, her retirement is gone, her health savings are gone, she is in a country where she has no rights, no support system, and no independent means. Her visa, her very right to be in the country, is tied to her marriage to the man who has robbed her. She is a prisoner of love, a prisoner of finance, and a prisoner of a family that sees her as nothing more than a walking, talking wallet. The trust is not just broken, it has been vaporized. There is no coming back from this. This isn't an argument you can resolve. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a fundamental violation of everything a marriage is supposed to be. To steal from your partner is one thing. To steal their emergency medical funds is another. But to steal their emergency medical funds and give it to the people who have emotionally abused them for years, that is an act of such profound cruelty. It is almost sociopathic. It demonstrates a complete lack of empathy, a moral void where a heart should be. Sumit's betrayal is the final devastating chapter in a long story of lies. He never truly left his family. He just found a way to have both. He kept his family happy by giving them Jenny's money, and he kept Jenny happy by giving her his presence, a presence paid for by her own life savings. It was the perfect, monstrous solution to his problem. He didn't have to choose between his mother and his wife. He just had to betray one to appease the other. And he chose to betray the one who had given up everything, the one who was most vulnerable, the one who loved him most. As Jenny sits there, staring at the pile of papers that represent the end of her life as she knew it, the full weight of her situation crashes down on her. She is alone. Utterly and completely alone, trapped in a foreign country with no money and a husband who is a thief. Her fairy tale has become a financial horror story. The man she crossed the world for is not her prince. He is a predator, and his family are not just in-laws. They are co-conspirators. The health crisis she had been saving for had finally arrived. And the disease was her marriage. He stole her health to pay for their wealth. This is one of the most disgusting financial abuses we've ever covered. Should this be a criminal matter? Let us know what you think. Health heist. This isn't just reality television drama anymore. This is a story of profound deception and potential federal crime, a cautionary tale that should echo in the minds of anyone who has ever gambled everything for love.